So Kevin won a tournament called the Alienware Showdown. Basically, he got an all-expenses-paid trip to Berlin with a +1, and he brought his dad.
When I first heard that I'm going to Berlin, I won a competition, I couldn't believe it. I'm a shy guy, camera shy, so I might be awkward in front of camera.
One of the things that we wanted to touch on was what an actual pro player's daily life looks like. So in his mind, he was a casual viewer and he knew what the esports scene was like 2 or maybe 3 years ago, but he didn't quite know how it had evolved and what an esports organization looked like now. Hey Kevin, come on. Welcome to Misfits. Let's show you around the office. This is the first room. Behave, everyone. So this is the coach's room. Everything LEC, in terms of coaching happens in here. That's David. He's going to be your coach for tomorrow.
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
Nice to meet you. He's going to make you suffer tomorrow. Don't you worry. That's Robert. He's our performance coach. Hi. So when we talk about the whole sports thing, he's the person that will take you to the gym and make you suffer for that on
It'll be great fun.
Thursday. Yeah. And then, but he'll mostly talk to you about what pro players have to go through to make sure that they're healthy and basically that we're taking care of them.
Thomas is doing the same thing. I gave him some. I try not to get my coffee. It's really unhealthy.
Hey, can you get a zoom in on this the performance coach's chocolate coffee, by the way?
I'm dangerously low in calories right now.
Keep saying
My
that.
blood sugar is so low right now.
Sounds like an excuse.
It's all
Only medical excuse. I WebMD'd it.
So this is where if you were a pro player, right? You would look at him and go, but you had a chocolate one, and then you just push for it every single time.
No.
You love these moments as a pro player when you see a performance coach running it down in terms of nutrition and health. Unbelievable.
I'm still under my calorie limit for the day, so it's okay.
This is the review room. Those are your agendas. We'll go over that in a little bit. All of our players after every single scrim, the morning before practice, and then after practice, we all come in over here. During scrim hours, 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes per game. We sit in here and we talk about the game on there. In the morning off, when we do our morning presentations, that's when we talk about the lesson of the day and the goal for the day. And we'll show them clips from other regions or from our regions or other teams of how they do things. So that'll be in the morning. That's about 30 minutes to an hour. And then at the end of the day, we come to a conclusion, look at how we played, summarize what we learned and what we failed at and what we need to work on. And then, this is basically the get-together room for the team. This was in Wuhan.
Yeah. I'm in Wuhan.
Wuhan.
China.
Yeah. This was group stages. So
The
this
scene with the dragon that popped up?
Yes. Yeah. That one. Also the best tournament in Misfits history. This is a tournament where, actually that's Wuhan. I think we have some pictures eventually of us in Guangzhou as well. So you'll see this in the arena. This is Fidget, our mascot. There is a person in Misfits whose job it is.
The job is to have this costume?
Not their whole job, but when we need it, he or she will be in there. You can figure out who it is. This is the main content room. Filming happens over here. You will be filmed over here as well. This is the main magic room, I guess. All the editors work, yeah. So these are our main editors. Louis, senior editor.
Come here.
Doesn't matter. That's Seabird. Any content you see will be edited by these two lovely gentlemen over here. This is the player room A. Kevin, Neon, DOS, intern. All of our players play out here for our first team. This is player room number 2. So Academy play out of this. Kire and Sophie right now.
I can say hi.
You can say hi.
Nice to meet you. Thomas.
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
That's Alexi, Eva, our fabulous support. Academy team scrims out of this room, and for them, this is the coach's table. They do reviews in here as well. So main team in the review room, academy room in here.
Ella, I'm trying to order food.
Hey, is it healthy?
It's pasta.
Okay, that's fine. This is our lobby / kitchen area. That is our coffee machine. Every esports team in Europe is jealous of that. Greatest thing in this office. Anything in here you want, check the fridge, everything's available to you. And lastly, this is the management room. That's Becca, our VP of Comms, also resident Berlin genius. If you need to know anything about what you want to see, etc., go to her. She's going to be working with you in a few minutes in regards to branding and media and stuff, okay? That's Andy, he's our player manager. Lou, facilities manager.
Hey.
So basically every single property that's under Misfits, he manages.
Dude, that's important. Just talk a little bit.
So only with your left hand? One of the first things we had Kevin do was a segment with Becca, our VP of Comms, for media training. Kevin knew and we knew that he'd be filmed all week long, and so we wanted to make sure that he has the proper tools given to him so that he was comfortable on camera.
So welcome to Media Training 101. Today I'm going to walk you through a bit about branding and content, what we do here at Misfits, and we're going to explain a little bit about what your role is as a player and how you can grow your brand and help the team grow as well.
My session with Kevin was the first workshop that he did. People think about a pro team or an organisation and think, oh, they just go and they play the game. So it was my goal to give him an insight into exactly what goes on behind the scenes.
Just an overview, what does media mean? I briefly sort of said that the content that we do is going to be your first barrier to entry. But then also the stuff that some of the teams do will be press conferences, interviews with media, but it also extends to your personal channels as well. So things like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and if you stream as well. So things like that's where the personal brand and the team brand comes into play.
When I was going through the media training, Becca showed me a lot of presentation about how pro player life. I didn't actually know gaming company was collaborating with other brands.
So you're going out there with your own brand, but you're also a representative of Misfits now. And not only Misfits, if you're a League of Legends player, you're a representative of Riot and their league too. So there's a certain set of rules and standards that we ask our players, and that Riot also will ask players to uphold as well.
I think the biggest question that players have around media is why. I've been very lucky that I've been around a lot of players for a while when I worked at Riot previously, and a lot of times players would wonder, okay, I know I have to do this interview, but I don't really know why. And I think that is something that especially I try and explain to players right from the get-go, that this is an extension of your voice, it's an extension of your personality. Why are you doing an interview? You might be doing it to help the brand grow, you might be doing it to help a sponsor, you might be doing it just for the fans. You know, you've got to think behind the interview, you've got to think behind what it means.
When Kevin came in, he was a one-trick Wukong, and I wanted to push him into his discomfort, try out new champions, and expand his champion pool so that he wouldn't get banned out in his collegiate games and as well as just his solo queue games. I think it's once you recognize him, you know that he's a Wukong one trick. You take that out of the picture and he's done. He can't win games. So I was looking to hopefully get him to play champions that are similar to the style that he was successful at before.
You've already hit masters this way. Now, if we can expand it to champions that are similar to Wukong, so we're talking about physical bruisers that are good at team fights. So if you can pick up Renekton, Jarvan, get comfortable with those mechanics, implement it in solo queue and play top lane, I guarantee you're going to gain LP.
The coach made me try out new champions because I mainly just play one champion, and he thinks it's pretty weak at the moment, so he made me try out some easier champion because I don't have the best mechanics.
So you got to use the first E to close the distance through their front line, flash into the back line. Yes, except the W was slow. You got to do it again. Remember, if you're that AD carry and you see Renekton E into you, they might think to themselves, I can get an auto off. That's when you flash on top of them. But if your W is slow, they're going to flash away.
If you're this Darius and you try to W, they're just going to dodge it, lean back, kite you, then go back in. So instead of W, what do? And which way do you walk? If you're gonna let them walk in, how do you bait them? How do you let them? Which way do you walk? Yeah, walk away from the Baron, walk right. Then they're gonna try to contest the Baron. And once they try to contest the Baron and you're behind them, you don't even need to W anymore. You just walk into them. And that is essentially how you execute the flank. You have to bait them. It's a trap.
As David was coaching me, he taught me how to like trap players by you being the bait instead of you engaging onto them. I always engage onto them when I find it's the right chance, but I never thought about baiting them into a better spot to engage on them too.
I mean, Kevin was a delight. He's not necessarily the hardest esports fans, but in terms of how video games affect all of us, he's like a really good example of a guy that enjoys what he does, is good at it, can hit masters, and just wants to see how high he can go. So it's nice to meet someone like that and be able to help them.
He is a gamer himself, and Kevin cares a lot about making himself better. That requires a certain level of training, a certain level of mindset, and so we had a day dedicated to gameplay where Kevin met up with Febvin and talked to him a lot about how Febvin picks up new champions, or what his daily life looks like as a pro player, what kind of mindset he needs to have, how he trains, how does he keep himself disciplined, etc.
It was pretty interesting talking to Kevin, because I feel like the things he was telling me were also the things that I went through when I was like, I guess, his age.
So what did your parents think about you when you were playing games every day, skipping school?
I mean, it wasn't like I was completely skipping school, but if I would have like 2 hours left, I would just say, F this, 2 hours, I would just like leave and like tell my parents that, for example, my teacher got sick or something like this, and they would always believe me because I don't know, I wouldn't really lie much, besides school stuff. So, I mean, they didn't really know what I was doing, honestly, playing games all day, because I'm just sitting in my room, right, playing games all day, and I was telling them, I'm gonna become pro someday, and I was telling them, I don't want to go to school anymore because I believe that I will become a pro eventually. So I had that confidence in myself. Yeah, we did pretty well in the tournament, so I got money, and then I got offered a contract, so a real contract for 2,000, 3,000 a month for just playing games, And then I had to move to Berlin, because here's where the competition is. And I mean, they were pretty skeptical at first, they didn't really understand anything. But as soon as my dad, he saw money coming in, he was like, okay, if you love this, then you should just do this. And now they're really happy that they let me take my own path, because I've had pretty good success, going into this this life. So yeah, that's how it went.
But yeah, I mean, when we're talking about solo queue and grinding and getting to become a pro, basically, there is also a lot of good times, because it was just me, my freedom, living at home, doing what I want to do, and it also gives me good memories,
So when did you become a pro?
I became a pro 5 years ago. So when I was 17, when I was a real kid, just playing video games all day since I was, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, 5 years old, even playing with my Game Boy and stuff, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff like this, GameCube, PlayStation. Yeah, I played so many different games, I think growing up I played RuneScape a lot. Do you know this game?
Old school, yeah.
Yeah. So that was from maybe 10 to 13, or even before 8 to 13, and then I swapped to Call of Duty, and I put so many hours in this game as well. And then I play a little bit of World of Warcraft too,
I know, I never played.
Yeah, and then eventually I played League, and then I just played so much. But I mean, eventually I got to a point where I was actually good, and then you get to play amateur, and then eventually you keep getting better and better, and then you get a pro, and team actually see your skill and see the value in you, especially when you're young.
Febvin was just a player that whenever he really had the chance and whenever he had the motivation, he would break through the scene. He was known in high elo for a long time to just play Riven mainly. He was a Riven main, and he was always in the top 5. He was very, very high elo. And it didn't surprise me that as soon as Febvin came into Fnatic and he adjusted to the competitive play style and adjusted the champion pool, that he would do very well. So it's someone I look forward to playing, because the Febvin I know was someone who would wreck solo queue with Riven only, and he's a very different player. He is a competitive player now.
When you play 13 hours a day, do you ever tilt?
Of course I do. Of course. It depends, It's all in your mind.
Do you ever have a bad day when you play League and just not doing so good, going into a lose streak?
Yeah, of course, I'm on a lose streak right now. I think I lost like 9 games in a row. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel that good. I mean, you probably have the same, right?
Yeah.
We just don't want to play anymore.
What's the most difficult of being a pro player?
The most important thing that you have to do is sacrifice. Like sacrifice literally everything, like friends, family, all your time. You have to be so like in love with the game that you don't really care about other things, I guess, so you can actually really become the best and just focus on one thing. The job becomes your life, you know, so if you're not willing to put in the time, you know, like trying to learn how to be the best, then you will never be the best or stay on top in this competition, you know, because then someone else will just do it, and then this guy will be better than you and he will teach his teammates, and then you're just sitting there.
I think the most inspiring thing he talked about was when if you want to keep a spot, you need to keep working hard or someone else will take over the spot. So never start feeling lazy, always put the best effort you can.
I was thinking carefully about it because part of one of the dishes that I normally do for the other players, based on health, you know, it has to be healthy. What we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to make what we call it a salad niçoise. Now, the other thing, it's not only about eating. If you don't move, it's not good, so you need to exercise as well, you know?
With Kevin, I brought him to the gym just to show him what a stereotypical workout would be with the players. We talked about health and wellness, and then I did a presentation with him. The workshop, or the purpose of the talk today, we're going to talk a little bit about the life of a pro.